3, 2, 1. Price King.
Nope.
Welcome to a stonerific, sure, episode of the Effin' Movie Podcast. We're your hosts, Nathan, Mason, Bryce, and Dylan. See, I came last this time.
You always do.
And I usually do. And, Nathan, what are we talking about today? Kelly Sr., I want it on record, he said that, not me.
Mom, I don't know, I love you.
Make me cinnamon rolls, please. I'll buy them. I will buy them.
We are talking about Mallrats.
Oh.
I feel like I really want to preface the fact that this, I picked this. But I picked this because I was given the category of a Kevin Smith movie.
This is
Here's
the movie.
the price bell.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the disclaimer.
Don't kill me.
This is definitely, this is a price kind of statement. Of
Yeah.
Just going ahead and get out in front of it. It's like, I have a feeling we're all gonna hate
You're
this
reading the
movie.
room here.
What I think is the most strange is for all of the movies you've made us watch, this doesn't crack your top 5 horse for me.
No,
But this is what you're disclaiming.
Yeah, I agree.
This is the movie you're holding on to saying, I don't know this.
I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take ownership for this one. That's the thing. Like the other stuff, it's like, I picked that, and I stand behind it.
Mm.
But I don't stand behind Mallrats.
You picked Waterworld, where we were just halfway screaming
Dude, it's
about.
so-
Waterworld's
y'all
pretty
don't
sick.
understand.
No, I'm with Nathan on this one. Waterworld's sick.
Waterworld, I would watch
I'm on board with
3
this.
more times
Yeah.
before I would watch this.
I would
one
watch
again.
Mallrats 5 times before I watch Waterworld again.
This will be the question.
Okay,
later.
be the question.
I'm just alright. We'll all play like a movie versus Mallrats for our question later. But Nathan, give us the synopsis of Mallrats. This should be easy enough.
2 guy friends are both dumped nearly simultaneously by their girlfriends. They go to the mall to just bum around and I guess feel sorry for themselves. End up hijinksing their way back into being on a dating show to get
To get
the
their
girl
women back.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
There's so much filler.
So much.
There's a lot of filler.
You know what I can really appreciate about this movie though is like its plot is so simple, and I think most of us can mostly relate. I mean,
It's
obviously we don't
relatable.
all end up on a dating show at the end, but you just go to the mall,
Yeah.
and they made a movie about this. Like these 2 guys, which I think my biggest qualm was they looked too similar, and I got them and their girlfriends mixed up all the time.
You're crazy. The main
Jason
guy.
Lee is a little too
Jason
distinguishable.
Lee is
Right.
I'm not
very
saying that they
distinguishable.
look a lot alike, but they were in the exact same position the entire
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
and then it would show one of their girlfriends away from everyone, and be like, I don't know which one that one belongs to. I can't.
But you also you've gone on your way to say that you don't necessarily like Kevin Smith films and don't typically watch them. So
No, but I mean this one was pretty okay. It was just
Yeah,
I liked
but-
how simple
right
everything was, and how they you said it was filler, and I agree. But it wasn't a bad time.
So the point I was making in your favor is that Jason Lee is such a distinguishable Kevin Smith character when you see his other films that I'm
okay.
I could see where you're starting to blend these ones together. But also this is one of his first, if not first, I can't recall.
The 90s, I think.
Oh, like one of his first films.
Kevin Smith's first. I know it's one of his
Oh,
first, but I don't know if it's the first or not. I always forget. No, Clerks was the first. This was the second.
Yeah, this was the second.
This was the second movie.
Because
So
a piece of trivia of this is
Mhm.
that the comic book collection of one of our main characters
Brody,
was Kevin's
Oh my
actual
God.
comic book collection, right?
that's so sick.
Wow!
That was after he had bought back as much of his collection as he could from when he sold all of it to finance Clerks.
Right?
Huh.
Yeah, I did know that bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that the one in this one. But I remember hearing about he's selling comics to sit there and make Clerks in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to your point, I could see where it's they're 2 dudes with the same exact problem. One's a little bit more cruder than the other, and that's about your main
one was
difference.
smart, halfway smart.
Yeah. Well,
But
smart,
didn't
but
seem
not
to
wise.
have
Yeah.
the drive to do anything.
Right.
That's kind of the thing with both of them is they don't really care about going anywhere in life.
Right. They're like, I'm kind of fun.
Except
just
the mall.
Except for the mall.
I'd say my biggest qualm actually wasn't with I don't know. My biggest qualm with it was at the end they both got their women. That rubbed me so raw. Like, I hated that. The fact that not Jason Lee, the other guy. I'm gonna start calling him the other guy. The fact that the other guy got his woman back is absolutely absurd. He had no reason to get her. Like, first, like, they just made no sense together. She stated that like you need to change, and he's like, I'm not gonna change, and she's like, oh, we're gonna get married now.
Yeah.
And like that's
I
the
guess
end
you're
of the
okay.
movie.
Yeah.
Jason Lee, I understand a little bit more because like I don't understand what his ex was really going for. She was like,
She just wanted passion or something
Yeah.
out of him, and he's like banging her in the elevator now. We see like a gradual growth for Brody rather, but then TS, yeah, it's kind of just like, I had passion, you just didn't see it, and it was only getting engaged though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right though. Like she didn't really have as much. Like the other one actually had a lot going for her. Like her dad was the dad of the game show
Michael
host
Rooker,
guy,
yeah.
the game show creator, and yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. Also, you would have thought this setup for the scene whenever they were finally like on this game show, like that he was going to win her back with something.
Right.
yeah, be like, I'm sorry, I messed up. Like,
Yeah, but no.
Yeah,
he was
he
actually-
doubled
I'm doubling down.
Yeah, he doubled down.
and was an asshole.
Right.
Yet it worked.
And he got his all of his audience involved with it, and
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Yeah, that just feels very much like she got pressured in the moment into saying
Right.
yes, and she probably backstage just like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's why in like
It's like, I'm not, like, this is on TV,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but no.
But never again.
Right, it's kind of like that modern day trope where it's like you see somebody proposing in public and there's like a cute factor to it, but there's also a little bit like, man, she's kind of pressured.
Yeah.
If
like,
she says
what if
no,
she says
she's
no?
gonna get booed.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get shamed by people
Yeah.
on this one. But knowing that I've done it in public before, so yeah, but that was the game. I'm like, you're gonna say
You
yes.
proposed in public?
Yeah.
Where?
At Public Square Park.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty cliche, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
I got married in the cemetery though, so I had to balance that out. Anyway, so I do
Please
want
continue.
to talk a little bit about the dad for a second. There we go. I had to think about it because it's the chocolate pretzel scene.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about that. When you said Michael Rooker, I was like, the chocolate pretzel
scene.
scene.
Who was the most bothered here by it? Because that one, I won't lie, it did me in a little bit. I
Was that like the whole smell thing?
It was the
Yeah,
hand.
it was the
mash,
hand
and then it was the
job.
and then him licking his fingers to the chocolate.
And
I'm
it zoomed in on him going like,
Yeah,
It
and
was
I,
such
And there was like bits of stuff that didn't look like they came from the press.
Right,
yeah.
In the
there was
chocolate.
melted
Chocolate.
chocolate on his hand.
It looked like a Tarantino sort of like, but they were like really leaning in on.
Yeah.
See, I saw like Tim and Eric kind
Yeah,
of like
it did.
stuff
That's-
on
That's
that.
what bothered
Like
me
that-
about it. It went back to that type of
That's
humor.
why I was dying, because I was like, I get you.
I fucking hate that humor. It was
Be
just like-
humor, I'm here.
Oh, I know. We're hitting in the price of Spectrum versus my Spectrum, and I was just like, ugh. It's bothered me more than 95% of raw.
And the
Like,
whole time he's eating, Jason Lee's like looking at the other guy. Just
Yeah.
like, look at this.
ugh.
I just don't get why his character did that in general.
No,
like
all
especially
of the
when
little
he knew
upbeat.
he was setting them up
Right.
to both be taken away. Like he was like really buttering the guy up for no fucking reason. That doesn't seem like his character
No,
at all.
I agree. I
Like,
remember
why would he
thinking-
not have been just an asshole to both of them?
Yeah, it felt incredibly inconsistent. And the only thing you can really say is he's waiting for the cops to kind of get in position, so to speak. But it's also like, you have that many cops available. Like this still feels like a weird scene for a character inconsistency, right? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't play it up like you're my neighbor, and he's just like,
Also, I don't know if those were cops.
Well,
I think
They
they
were
were like
mall cops?
Yeah, I think they were because I mean they were.
Oh, yeah, those were the
following
mall
around
cops
the
before,
head
right?
mall cop guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I think those were all just mall cops.
right.
Which that's a fucking lot of mall.
That's a
cops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's more.
They brought him in from
that's,
all
uh,
of that district.
That's Opry Mills about a mall cops right now. Last time we went there policing children or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
insane. They're like,
yeah, they
these-
have like just people all over the place there.
Yeah, they're like ID checking, and I'm like, I am very clearly an adult. Like,
Yeah.
please let me through. They're like, we need to see your ID. I'm like, come on. Like, so I won't talk unless we got more to talk about the dad. I really don't think there's more to talk about him, really.
What about the full-on nude scene with him right at the beginning, where he's just like flexing his ass?
I love it.
cheeks?
Yeah,
I actually
while
love
they
it.
were like filming him or
Yeah.
something. And
It's just him fighting with himself on that, and just kind of showing the kind of like stupid
Yeah,
but vain
like-
character he is.
Yeah, with them having just before that him talking about like how her dad's got to be just over the moon about this. She's
Right.
like, no, he's so tore up, and then he's just like all
Dancing.
excited and dancing and naked and just like flexing his ass cheeks in front of a mirror.
I think it's some of the better parts of this movie, strangely enough. Not just for like the nudity aspect. He didn't hang dong, Michael. Show dong. But
more.
it's the show not tell aspect, and for Kevin Smith films, they like to embellish in the tell. Like that's so much of the fun of it. But I like that this one was just him fucking dancing naked, and I was like, you get everything you need out of this character's description just on the little comparison side by side.
If you rewind that about 10 minutes, though, or maybe 15 minutes,
I wonder if
that,
this is
that
extra.
beginning scene was so long for no reason. I
But the
thought.
one where like
He
they
pulls
were up
up.
on the roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're up on the roof and like about to shoot the president or whatever. Like that just went on so long.
It was-
Wait,
it-
what?
It wasn't the president. It was like a woman who was like the financial person. At the very, very beginning, when was it in TS?
TS
know, I call
is
him
the
the
other
other
guy
guy.
besides Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was TS and his girlfriend were up on the roof. She was like looking at fucking stars or something through a telescope, and it was.
Did you watch the extended cut too? Because
That's
this is
what
not.
I'm wondering.
I didn't see.
No,
any
he
of
was
it.
dressed up in like the.
Yeah,
he
and
was a
the
union
musketeer
guy.
outfit
Yeah.
or whatever.
Me and Nathan didn't see this film.
No.
No, you
I
guys-
don't feel like I saw
That-
that.
Was your movie 2 hours long?
I didn't even know. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I think we watched this.
Yeah, you guys both had to have a director's cut. Cause
Yeah,
me and
like
Nathan
you guys are talking
were
about
like-
something that is not ringing
You
a
guys-
single bell.
Yeah, you were like,
I
this scene went on
yesterday.
too long, and I'm like, we
Why?
both watched this yesterday.
Yeah,
and I
looks
can
like
tell
we
you.
watched the same version.
And
I didn't feel the 2 hour line.
and that scene
I
did
did.
not come up at all.
It
At
was
our
like
watch.
at the very beginning.
So we know one of the scenes
Yeah,
that
when you
gets
said
cut.
rewind 15 minutes, I was like, was it really? It was like,
Yeah, so
where did it-
immediately
our
I was like,
movie-
this is about to
Did
be.
it open with Jason Lee and
It's
Ed with
Jason
his
Lee and the
girlfriend?
girl, right,
That makes so
exactly.
much more sense.
Well,
Yeah.
That scene is also really stupid when like he wakes up and she's like, "Come on, wake up," and he's like, "Oh, I gotta play my video
Yeah, I
game
gotta
right now."
finish my game of
yeah, it's
Pong.
like some of the poorest acting that I've seen in a
Yeah.
minute. But I will lie, something about her hitting his head and it being like that coconut
Yeah.
did tickle me. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
all right, that's good.
I say I thought it was stupid that he's like, "Oh yeah, I gotta finish my game."
Yeah.
And
Like, but he paused it already.
Yeah, he had already
It was
paused.
being resumed
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
his nap or
Yeah.
whatever.
He's a pretty unlikable character for
Oh,
that
yeah.
first chunk.
the first
of it.
half,
Yeah.
yeah.
when they go to the Michael Rooker's house or whatever, and he's like, "I've always wanted to be on TV. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do whatever to be on TV." And then he winds up being like, "I've been the neighbor for like 10 years,
Yeah.
and there's been satanic stuff going on in here."
Well, and everyone that they addressed afterwards, like, yeah, I saw you. You were on CNN for like terrorists attacks or something, and like the story kept getting
No,
crazy.
No,
and
you
crazy.
guys-
Also wasn't us.
That was
Yeah,
not
that,
in
we
our-
saw that too.
Yeah, they were like you kidnapped a kid, right? And he was like, nah, I was just doing
I
this.
feel like I need to see.
I know.
this.
I kind of
Like,
want to watch
feel like-
that. I want to watch the
This,
director's
there
cut
seems
now.
like there's a big subplot that we,
We
are
didn't
completely
cut that.
Okay,
oblivious to.
yeah. Because later,
We're
Michael
so
Rooker,
elite.
Michael Rooker later says, like, "Yeah, you said that we're like I've been worshiping Satan and stuff, huh?"
Yeah, we didn't get into
No,
that.
Yeah.
no,
The
that-
only interactions Brody has with Rooker is at that pretzel scene.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
Yeah,
they
like
get.
I didn't even realize they were neighbors. If it
No,
weren't for that,
right.
that scene where he was saying
I thought that it was like a ploy. It wasn't
Yeah.
that they're not actual neighbors, right?
He was
that's-
always like the boy next door or something.
Yeah.
They said that early on.
huh.
By the way, the woman that's like the girl who's their friend, the blonde chick.
Oh yeah.
That's one from Big Daddy, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I thought
She did
so.
look
She
familiar.
had the run from like that movie to Big Daddy and then disappeared.
I haven't seen her in anything.
No, I
since.
haven't seen her in anything. And I remember saying that same thing too. I was just like, after Big Daddy, she just disappeared.
She's got a weird voice.
Yeah. That
I
maybe
wonder if she
that's
went on to be
something that
voice
didn't really
acting.
play well with
Maybe.
like a lot of
Yeah.
other times that she might have tried to get.
If Renee Zellweger and her voice can get through Hollywood, anybody can.
Right. Renee
Jesus
Zellweger
Christ.
came back in 2019, got
She,
an Oscar too. So.
There was a little piece of trivia about her too, though. You know that scene where she kept like trying on all the different pants
Yeah.
and
Right.
stuff. There was a clause in her contract that any clothing that she wore, she got to keep.
So she was just trying to
Yeah,
so,
cycle
like,
through
that-
as much
that-
as
that-
she can.
She planned to do that
Uh-huh.
because she knew she was going to get to keep everything if she put
Right.
on too.
I mean, to be fair, she was gonna do a topless scene as well, so you kind of just make the rules at that point. For Mallrats, the second Kevin Smith film, which is still probably very low budget under like that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like.
And Dylan gives that a thumbs up.
I do. You know what? This movie did not shy away from its nudity, and I appreciate you for that, Kevin Smith.
Cameos. What about Ben Affleck? I mean, he
Ben Affleck beating the
played
shit out
a
of her.
pretty good bad, not so likable dude. I mean,
I'm really curious to
pretty
see
standard.
if you guys got more Ben Affleck now
Probably
too, because
not.
that's one where I'm like,
Did you see him go back and
actually cut Ben Affleck scene?
Did you all see him go back and beat up?
yeah, he
Jason
beat
Lee?
him up in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
the
that was a
elevator
big one.
scene were like the only
The
two.
elevator.
Okay, yeah. So then that's pretty much all about it.
Yeah.
Well, that and him fucking that. We gotta talk about that character. So the
The
15-year-old
15-year-old
doing the sex study, doing
Dude,
orgasm.
that was probably one of the best like subplots of this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Because he came back and like bit him at the
Mhm.
end.
Because I remember thinking out loud, I'm like, wait, she hooked up with him. She's 15. Why is nobody getting arrested?
Well,
Yeah.
and she had what 60?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
60
yeah.
different studies.
Right.
And her parents knew.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we're totally behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a scholar.
She's. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know.
She's gonna get into whatever the hell school she's talking
What
about.
you know what? This is kind of one of the things I actually that I like about Kevin Smith movies. I don't know any other movie that fucking does that and then does it like playfully and actually does it fairly well, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
there's just some totally abstract minor characters.
like you felt grimy as soon as they said like some of
Right.
that stuff, but like the jokes were plenty okay where you're just like,
Right.
oh, okay, well, I'm in it.
I got
So-
really tired of the sailboat one though.
Yeah, the sailboat
I got
one kinda
real
sucks.
tired.
They
that
did
one.
him so dirty.
The
He's
first-
such a good like side character.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
kept staring at a painting.
The first like one or two times, like the first one I definitely laughed. Second one with the kids I definitely laughed, and then it showed him like 2 or 3 more times. It's like that's enough.
And
Like,
he's great.
Pretty much every character in the movie at some
Talks-
point has a scene where
Right.
they're like stopping and seeing the sailboat and pissing him off.
Oh, come on!
And his like anger kept getting like worse and
Right.
funnier, and it was just like, all right, but I saw this like 3 times now.
Right.
Like, I think I'm
Yeah.
okay.
It's quite a bit touch predictable at that point. It just doesn't like for Kevin Smith, who I would say like his biggest thing is that whenever his side characters are all like the best characters in the one, like Jay and Silent Bob, who we've not talked about yet for that.
Yeah.
In his little verse, typically tend to be the much more interesting, fun characters. in his
Jason
films.
Lee was by far my favorite.
Jason Lee's great, which is
He's
why
by far.
I think it's funny he comes out and it's like a satellite character for most of the other films because they don't really stick back to, well, they did Mallrats 2 or they're working on Mallrats 2. I forget which one it is right now.
Yeah, I think that's.
That's like a more recent one
upcoming.
coming up. Yeah.
Dude, I would actually watch the second one.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
if it comes out in the next year or two, I'll
Yeah, I
watch
mean,
it.
I feel like he's definitely refined his.
Right, because this is so early
Abilities,
that
yeah.
you could tell
I,
there's a
I,
lot of rough.
I could see a Mallrats 2 actually
being pretty fun. I mean, hell, they did Clerks too, and that turned out to be fairly decent with that.
Yeah.
But, what's the more that I mean? Is there really much to say about Jay and Silent Bob? Like, just as this is a much younger Jay, so you can tell like some of the stuff is a little too extra at times.
Well, the only thing I didn't like, and this might be a Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks, whatever kind of like trope, but like I kind of just kept getting more sick of like the antics that they had. I was so happy that like they were like, oh yeah, we were already gonna fuck up that game show. Like
Yeah.
don't worry about it. Like we got it. And like that was funny. And then they kept honing in on like the lead mall cop guy with like the fedora.
Level 4, yeah, that guy's
And
actually
like,
super
and I
good.
appreciate all of that, but like their little plans and like the blueprints, like
the big blueprints
Yeah.
and the little
Right.
kid seeing it
Yeah.
and like him shooting him and him getting pissed off and just perfectly
Skating
messing
across.
up the plan.
Right.
but like they kept like filling in the movie with like Kevin Smith like roped in
Fly,
like
fat man,
Yeah,
fly.
yeah, just like stuff like that where I was like I'd rather just see more TS and Brody and like I don't know
I definitely.
see and that's where like I don't think
so.
I would enjoy Clerks. I don't think I would enjoy Jay and Silent Bob like just because it's
agree.
those two versus all of these other characters that I really actually enjoyed in this movie.
Yeah. I'll say
I
this-
agree with my other director's cut.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
I'll say in this film, this early on though, like their dialogue is kind of shitty in this film for the most part. Like
that's what it was.
I feel like 75% of it is like it's on brand for 'em.
Uchi Gucci.
Right, so-
something.
Right, I feel like
Snoochie
that's
Banucci.
Yes,
yeah,
Nucci Benucci.
Yeah, so
That's
that's like 80% of Jay's dialogue in this film, and usually they'll get like 1 or 2 of those, then like the later stuff, and they actually like fleshed them out. But like it just didn't feel like they gave them a whole lot to work with, both narratively and dialogue. But I'll agree, this is the most I've disliked them, which isn't this. Okay, dislike isn't the right word. The least I've liked them in the Kevin Smith film, just because I was just like, God, the dialogue is just shitty right now. But again, this is Kevin Smith's second film, so he's like got ideas, and you can tell he's fleshing it out more. as he
Still
goes
very
on.
much fleshing out like his cinematic.
Yeah,
universe.
even when they get to like Jay and Silent Bob like Strike Back and they have like their own centered film, they have much better dialogue and they're much better
Oh yeah,
characters at that
yeah.
point.
That's actually. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I feel
Yeah.
like that was a pretty good film.
Yeah, I remember I really enjoyed liking that one.
The
but
ending was perfect.
Yes.
Oh god.
The ending of that movie is fantastic.
Criminally underrated.
You
But
want, you want to talk about endings though? What about the ending to this movie? Because I loved
the Jaws
the-
one.
no, just like
Or
the whole game show, like from the game show on.
Oh yeah, no.
It was
When
so
this hits
funny.
Act 3 finale, it's coasting. Like it's,
Oh yeah, like when she's asking the questions. I mean, Jason Lee steals it at that
Yeah,
point.
he
does.
It's like,
Yeah.
what would you say? Like, what would you do for me if we were getting intimate? It's like intimate.
No, it's Whoopi, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, what's Whoopi? You mean fucking? Sorry, Kelly Senior. I'm quoting the movie though. That one's not on me. That's on Kevin Smith.
Take it up with them.
Yeah, so I do appreciate that even and the executive producers are like, yeah, Ray's too edgy.
Yeah, like
and that's such a
they're
90s
so
thing.
into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so 90s though.
They're like, can you
edge.
call me? What was it like? Can you not call me number 2?
Yeah, the second
Yeah.
suitor.
The second suitor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
And then the third guy just kept trying to get attention, and
Right.
everyone was just dismissing
This is the
him.
most bullshit answer I've ever. You would never do that.
And
What
what
was
was
the
it?
main characters of original Clerks too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he did look kind of familiar.
And the other guy, what was the other time he said like I didn't do that? That's like gay. And Jason
Oh, yeah,
was like,
oh,
so
yeah.
now you want a homophobe now?
I love that Matt Huber still plays, right? Like that one. That's our group's humor. Half
It
the time.
is.
I literally made the same joke to Mason earlier, effectively, and I'm just like, all right. I just love that there's that little banter with it. That it's
And
just
that was like 30 years ago.
I know, right? So, man, you're right. Not as much progress as maybe we could have gotten with it.
We thought we had moved
But
forward.
then it basically ends with them finally getting the tape in and Ben Affleck's
Plowing the
having sex.
15-year-old, right? And I like that. Like immediately they're getting like Jason Lee or Brody, and then he's just like, "Whoa, she's 15," and they're like,
Yeah,
It's just
like
like,
forget arresting
wow.
this guy. This
I guess
is a
his crime is lesser.
Like that's the way crime works,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did something
The
worse.
police will arrest whoever has done the
Who has the
highest
worst
degree of
charge.
crime.
If you murder someone, but Price murders 2 people, I'm like, hey, he's gotten 2.
I guess
now.
I'm gone.
Yeah. And I love that he's like, can I punch him in the stomach? They're like, yeah, we can get you one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie came out to be like in talks. I think a little bit more fun than we gave it credit for on the watch. But do we want to move on to next segment?
I'm good.
What about your question, real quick? The would you rather
Well, would
watch
you fact
this
that I did my
movie?
question, or is it a question in that? Wait,
That's totally the question.
is it a question? I don't know. It's been a minute, guys. Sorry, we've been moving.
Just do
or
question then.
Let's do the question. All right, the question. You know it. You love it. All right. So of Nathan's movies, we've got to play a old Nathan movie versus Mallrats.
Okay.
So Nathan, or whoever wants to go first, I guess, rather.
I would rather watch. I was gonna say A Scanner Darkly, but I can't. I would rather watch A Lawnmower Man than this movie again. But I honestly just want to see
Whoa.
Lawnmower Man one more time.
Shut the fuck up.
Alright,
one more
Shut the
time.
fuck. All right, fine.
Hot take.
You watch the
Hey,
director's cut
you
like
know,
I
That's
did.
what-
You know, if Retro Review gets spun, we might be able to do
Might be able
because
to.
I mean, it's not been recorded,
No, you're
Oh
right.
my-
It still has a chance. There's only like 11
and,
movies.
and
Oh.
we'll insist on the director's cut, of course.
No. No.
Alright, I got mine. I would rather watch this movie than any of Nathan's other picks.
Ooh, what about Mad Max?
Ooh.
Damn.
I can't think of another movie that, like, I enjoyed this movie, and I can't think of another one of Nathan's movies I've enjoyed in a long time.
This is your kind of comedy though. I mean,
Yeah.
This is pretty okay.
So
Down
here-
your line.
I can't, like, if you all can correct me, that's fine, but I can't.
Mad Max is the
Mad
only one
Max
I
is
can
the only
think
one
of.
that-
No, not Mad. I definitely don't want to watch Mad Max.
God, it's tiring.
It's solid though.
It's tiring.
It
It's
is
just
solid.
same. It's not for me.
All
Okay.
it's blues and reds.
So this is not reflective of my score of Mallrats, but mostly because I want to go back and actually do genuinely want to watch this. I would watch Excalibur before I see Mad Max again. Because I think that movie has so much going on that and part of me wants to watch it in an intoxicated state. I want to be like kind of baked or something while I'm watching it because that just
What?
sounds. I don't know. I want to take shrooms and be
Terrible.
Excalibur.
I would rather set myself on fire than watch Excalibur or Monty Python.
Well, I don't
How
know.
about that?
Retro review is
Mason,
on the
We've
wheel.
done it.
so-
We've already
both
done
them
it.
both.
Well, I could do it again.
Mason and I will set each other on fire
Yeah.
instead of watching Excalibur.
Hey, that movie at least had nudity going for it, but
Man.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
not Marlon.
yeah, there wasn't enough.
I've never
don't
really
think so.
looked at what you give my movies. You have never given me higher than a 6.5.
I believe.
What was
that.
6.5?
What was 6.5?
I had several actually.
Oh, wow.
Cube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Cube was fun.
Cube was fun.
Let's see.
Yeah,
V for Vendetta.
that was fine.
Sick. Amazing
Legend. Oh wait, no, Being John Malkovich.
Oh, never mind.
The real crime
Yeah.
is you
Yeah.
gave Legend a 6.5. That is sickening.
Like it should be higher.
No, it
Oh.
should be lower.
I don't know. I don't remember what I was thinking.
All right, so this is going to be an interesting segment, considering that two of us have watched a 30-minute long version of this film that may reflect on our
We're all gonna
fat.
have different answers here.
Right, fat, thin, perfectly fit. What's the shape of this movie, Nathan?
You know, I didn't watch the director's cut, but I still think this movie's kind of fat.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I prefaced so much of the beginning of this was just because I don't think I really liked this movie a whole lot. Even, like, talking about it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of funny. And, like,
Yeah.
I do remember there were, like, some really good, you know, moments. We didn't even talk about the fact that Stan Lee was in this movie.
Oh yeah, what a shame.
Yeah, for a bit too.
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty extended scene talking about Hulk Dick and stuff like that.
Yeah, he played like the
Hulk Dick and
Simpsons
Dick.
Comic book guy, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
like, I
Like,
can't
he's the
remember
equivalent
his
of his
name,
character.
but, yeah.
But yeah, this movie's still kind of fat. I think the sailboat thing is a thing
Yeah.
that just stands out so easily, but I mean, so much of this movie's filler anyway.
Yeah.
You just have to realize that this isn't a movie that gets anywhere anytime soon, and you're just kind of hanging out with it.
Right.
You're not really like following it closely.
I do think that it's pretty symbolic of hanging out with like a stoner person when you're just kind of chilling and you're like, I think I want to go do something else, but you're not really sure how to get out of the situation, which is effectively Kevin Smith's writing style. So I think for that reason, most of his movies, not just Mallrats, from the ones I've seen, are going to be fat. Again, non-director's cut, I already say right away, I cut most of the sailboat guy. Like, honestly, probably just cut almost all of him, and you just fill out with anything else. Maybe some of the TS scenes are trimming it down, but yeah, other than that, most of the other stuff kind of just sticks. It's kind of the experience of the film. It's kind of just hanging out and kind of just giving you things. Nothing of like huge consequential plot points are happening, and that's kind of like the style of this movie. So I'm not going to fault it for that, but it's a fat movie. Director's cut.
You want me to go?
I
Mason.
don't care.
Here you go.
Yeah, it's obviously fat. It's very fat. I messaged him when I saw the runtime of this movie. I saw it was 2 hours. I was like, I can already tell you this movie's going to be fat. I watched an hour of it, and then one of them finally got back to me and said, it's an hour and a half. What are you watching? And I was like, well, I'm past that point now. I just have to finish it.
Have you got to the part with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Have you talked Splinter yet?
That
I
could
mean,
have
it wouldn't
happened.
surprise me,
I mean,
honestly,
honestly.
with the other stuff that they've described that we didn't see.
Yeah, no, they talk like the
Yeah,
extra
we could have
stuff.
really had them going.
Yeah.
You guys could have made stuff up, and we would have been like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I mean, for all we know, you made that shit up.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you all already heard how I said, like, the first 10 minutes of the movie didn't need to be there. And
And it
apparently the
doesn't.
theatrical version, it's not even there.
Yeah.
So,
So Kevin Smith, I guess, agreed at one point or another and said, yeah, well, okay.
it is fat. So, Mason, go ahead and agree.
I'm actually gonna say it's pretty fit. Even the director's cut.
Ah.
The only parts that I would cut, like, okay. So the reason why I don't like the whole Jay and Silent Bob thing is because like I don't get the whole shtick of Silent Bob not speaking and only using his facial expressions because they get so exhausting. Like at that very end when he finally is able to like grab the tape, like something just shifts in the rafters and his face just goes.
Right.
Like he does like an enthusiastic expression, and that's supposed to speak numbers, and like that's supposed to be his dialogue all the time, and you're just like, or at least me, I get so sick of it. But if I was to trim any of it, it would be more of their part because like give him a cameo. Don't give him this reoccurring like running from LeFleur, you know,
Nah,
hiding,
give me all of that.
dodging, going through the dresser. Like yeah, it's okay, but
Mm.
yeah, I do think that it's pretty fit, even though it's 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I was going into this movie with very low expectations, though, so maybe that's why.
So, notable trivia fact, I'm taking Nathan's
Go.
job on this one. For why Silent Bob is like Silent Bob is because, obviously, that's Kevin Smith, who directs the films and does
Mhm.
that. So, he's traditionally enjoyed being in the film, but he said he's always sucked at being an actor with lines and stuff.
I
So,
gotcha.
he's always just wrote
So
himself
he's
in.
created himself
Right.
as a lineless dude.
Right.
Okay.
He has like one line or one part because he's never wanted to banter in that same way. He gives it to everybody else.
Which is
so.
crazy because he does so many interviews. Like, he's become.
Oh, he's a huge chatty
such,
dude, right?
yeah, such a talker
Mhm.
in front of cameras in other ways,
Yeah.
but not on the camera. I don't
But
know.
yeah, he's also just said he fucking sucks at remembering lines, and he's
Oh,
just
maybe
like,
that's what it
I
is
never
then.
want to go do that.
More
so
of an impromptu kind of.
Right. So I appreciate that though. Like it's fun to be a director in your own like film and not be like taking the spotlight. Taika Waititi somehow does everything great, including being
Yeah, he's solid.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but let's get into the scores.
Who's a better actor, Tarantino or Waititi?
Waititi.
I hate looking at Tarantino. I think he's the
I
most
know you do.
rat-looking man.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
like the Austrian
Yeah,
He looks
from
like
Rush.
he's
He does.
Yeah.
He looks like Daniel Bruhl,
He
but
does
like
look like-
even worse.
Right.
Like he looks like Daniel Bruhl in like 15 to 30 years.
Right, or his like degrading cousin or something
Yes.
like that. Like yeah.
That was born with a defect. I'm
Right.
sorry. He's
Sorry,
a bad
Dylan.
looking dude.
Do your
Yeah.
Do your score.
We'll do scores. Yeah. I'll probably give this movie a 7.5. I typically enjoy the Kevin Smith humor and stuff like that, and this has been probably the weakest film in the Kevin Smith lineup for me, because this is the first time I've actually got around to seeing Mallrats. It's one that slipped on my radar for a long time.
And that's why I picked it, because
Yeah.
I had never seen it either.
I
No, I'd seen the Clerks, I'd seen the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I saw like I guess the classic period, so to
Yeah.
speak, of him before he starts getting into like Tusk and all these Red Dawns and all these other things like
I'm glad
that.
you didn't pick that one.
Yeah, because those point forward, those movies could be incredibly bad or shitty or random. But the Kevin Smith universe film, so to speak, with like Clerks and all this stuff. This is the first time I've seen this one, and actually, I enjoyed it. There are some parts that lull for me. There's some humor doesn't land, and you can tell this is an earlier film just because some characters are like underperforming in some ways.
Yeah.
But Brody is still just hits his notes perfect, goes in there, and like 9 out of 10 times I'm entertained by him. Most of the time I'm enjoying Jay and Silent Bob as well. I think the LaFleur stuff with that, just like, yeah, I think he's got a body count or things like that. Like, got a body count of 2, and he's a mall cop.
He never
Like,
says a word either.
No.
He
Yeah,
never says
yeah.
a single word.
Right.
He's just this like prominent figure because he has a fedora on the whole time.
Right.
Like,
No, it's those like
the bowler hat.
It's a bowler.
It's a barbershop quartet kind of.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I thought it was a bowler cap too.
And like most of like the background side character humor all still lands for me, and I think these are places that they typically shines in Kevin Smith movies. Like another thing that we didn't mention in it was Brody going off about like that parent with like the kid on the escalator.
Yes, that was my favorite joke.
Yeah,
actually.
and then later there's like, oh shit, a kid's stuck in the escalator, and they're all bolting away with that. Like Hannah had to point that out to me while we were watching it, because that was like our break in between moving. We're like, okay, we're done moving for the day. Let's watch Mallrats. And like I didn't hear it at first, and she was like, "Did you catch that?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "There's a kid stuck in the escalator." I was like, "That's so funny."
He's like, every year kids die because blah blah blah. And parents are
Yeah.
too irresponsible.
Right. So I mean, that stuff just tickles me, and I think it's like I came in like thinking it was probably closer to a 7, but it's one of those movies where you talk through and it even gets a half point one way or the other. And I was just like, no, this is a fun movie to talk about. Like a lot of like just dumb fun stuff happens with it, and it's not trying too hard. And I'm okay with that. That's been my movie mood recently. Is give me dumb fun. Let me turn my brain off and let me just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with literally everything that Dylan just said. 7.5 for me because I went into it with pretty darn low expectations. I was expecting a Jay and Silent Bob or Clerks movie where like it's just this stoner comedy. How about that joke? But like this movie does it really well. I think that I liked every single character in this movie. I mean, even the guy with the sailboat. But like you said, this was so early on. Like he probably has like 150 IMDb credits. Like he's in
Yeah, that guy's
so
everywhere.
much crap.
He's in the quarry.
Is he really?
Yeah,
He looks
Oh,
like
that's
he'd be like a
cool.
farmer
Huh.
guy or something.
he
Like
is.
Ah, I knew it.
Well, like he's like ripped now. Like
Yeah.
you've seen him in like the last 5 years. But anyways, like even him, I was fine with. But yeah, it was much better than expectations. So 7.5.
This movie definitely was better than my expectations. I hated this category. I've never seen a Kevin Smith directed movie I've ever really enjoyed. Mason keeps nodding in agreement because
It's his category.
I have
It
to-
was my category.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, if I got this category, somebody else can have it. I don't care if I have 0 movies picked. I
Yeah.
don't want it.
Hmm.
But this movie did surprise me. But the reason I'm giving the score I am is because, one, it was too long. Again, I know I'm watching the director's cut, but the people who also didn't watch the director's cut also
Said the
said
same
it's
thing.
still fat. So there's a lot of trimming that needs to be done. I would say first half of the movie is pretty light. Like I found myself not really paying too much attention, like just kind of zoning out. The second half definitely picked up, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I also like viscerally did not like the fact that these two guys got their girls at the end.
Mhm.
More so than the other guy, not Jason Lee. I didn't think that his relationship was too important, but the other guys seem important because that's like the focal point of the movie, and he's just a jerk the entire time, doesn't change, and still gets this beautiful woman. It makes no sense, just made me mad, but I still laughed. There are still moments in it that the escalator kid, and we didn't mention it, but again, I wrote that in my notes to make sure to say because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And the chocolate pretzel scene, like
God.
there are good moments in this, but there is so much fat in there where nothing happens. Even though this is a movie about where basically nothing happens, it's just people hanging out. Then if that's the case, then the jokes really need to stick because that's the only thing holding the movie together. So I'm going to probably give this movie a 6, which is way higher than I thought I was going to do, but still enjoyed it, definitely. Maybe if I saw the original or the theatrical version, I could go 6.5, maybe even 7 if I saw how much they cut. But
Well, and what's
About
crazy
half
right
an
now,
hour.
6.
So.
too is like you can't remake this movie now. People don't hang out a lot. Like you would have to make
Yeah.
it.
Well, I think that's what made me
Way
even funny about it, right?
different.
Is that now they go around, where the fuck's everybody at? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like.
or
the
half the
running-
departments are closed.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
like half the bars are just down. I don't know. It turns into Tim and Eric, actually.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah, it's actually just
you're
Terminator.
saying it can't be remade, but
They
they
are
are
making
making
They are.
it.
They have already.
You're right. Maybe Dylan's on.
they've
something.
already have a sequel, and it's Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
It
really is.
No.
It turned into the Swallow Valley Mall.
Oh my god.
Where it's easy to make that first.
Is it
billion.
strange that there's a very realistic crossover for those movies, considering that like I
Will
don't.
Ferrell swoops in and
Right.
buys it like in the early 2000s.
Right.
Runs it into the ground.
Destroys it from its core.
Okay, yeah. Man, do I go 6.5 now?
There you go.
Yeah.
You
Awesome,
have
okay.
to have
Yeah,
some-
it's all
some
prime.
foundation.
I'll give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
It matches my other Nathan movies
Yeah,
that I've
that's what I was
given.
gonna say.
I'm here for it. Bump it to a 6.5.
That means it's a good pick by me, right?
Yes. All right, Nathan. Hit us with your best shot.
I don't know. This movie was all right. I know there's a couple of jokes that haven't been mentioned, and I can't like summon them to my mind to really bring them up right now.
Give us a scenario. Maybe we can help.
Yeah.
No, I'm drawing a blank. I just remember in the moment, like it was just like quick little one-off lines that I thought were particularly funny. I should have wrote them down. Regardless, overall, this movie, I don't know. Like it was just okay for me, and I either want it to be not good or be great. I don't want it to
You hate the
ride
middle
down
ground,
the middle of the
right.
road
Pick
and
a lane.
Yeah.
just
Come on.
leave me generally thinking like, well, there was a handful of scenes that were all right, but I spent a long time getting to those handful of scenes and not really enjoying the whole thing. So I mean, I guess I'll just leave it at a 5. You know, it was a movie. It was okay. You know.
That's exactly what a 5 is.
So yeah, as far as online, IMDb gives it a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, let's see, I don't know
Knock
if
it out
it's
of the park.
correct or not yet. No, the audience gives it an 82.
Dang.
The critics give it a 57.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good
Yeah.
considering.
So
I
we're
was
probably
expecting
looking at like a
30.
6.8 to 7 is like
Oh,
the
yeah.
average score between those two.
That's a 25-point difference, though.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a lot.
That's a big
pretty
swing.
big swing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're a critic in the early '90s, you just got done watching Jurassic Park, you just got done watching E.T., Jaws, and This Run Things, you know, in recent years, and then you go watch this movie. This clearly is not for you. You know, like,
So Mallrats 2 is apparently going to bring back
The
the
entire-
entire cast of the
Why
original.
not?
I just looked that up as
Send
well.
it.
Yeah.
So this might be a pretty good contemporary pick, considering actually quite soon Mallrats 2 should
Like
be
how
coming
soon?
out.
well, this was announced back in October 2020, from what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Mm.
That it was not only
You
announced,
can't
but that they
take
were going to have
that
the whole
long to
cast.
film a movie like
Yeah, like Kevin
literally
Smith
nothing.
movies. Are,
Maybe this has already come out. I didn't actually read the date on these articles about it.
the articles are about a year out, but I don't know if it's actually coming out.
I think
yet.
the hard. Well, I can't. There's not too many like huge really A-list actors besides maybe Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck at this point, and he's buddy with Kevin Smith.
Which
Yeah.
I was
hasn't
gonna
dropped
say, if
anything
he
to
comes
do it.
out, like, his is going to be the strangest part to watch.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's had the most
He-
success.
Yeah, like I don't know of
Him
anybody
and-
else who comes.
I think it's so
close.
funny. Him and Matt Damon both
Um,
are so buddy with Kevin Smith. that he
Production
just-
started last year, apparently.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we'll probably see it We'll probably see a trailer by the end of this
23,
year or
yeah.
something, or at least next year it's going to come out.
The problem is though, it'll be such a small release. Like it'll be like it won't be in theaters. It'll just be like straight to
Nah,
Hulu. I bet.
think it'll still hit theaters because Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Well,
Just
Tusk
did.
never did. Like all of his other movies.
No,
are
but
just...
the Jay and Silent Bob universe movies typically hit theaters though.
or
so-
Clerks. Yeah, that's right.
Right. So, I think Mulder's too with it. But without further ado, Mason, you get to spin because I'm at the very.
Because you're gonna hold it.
You gotta hold it.
Why would I ever get this?
I've
Because
spun
when you
this
spin
wheel
it, it
maybe
goes
once.
poorly every time. And Mason actually never spins it. He's always
I
pulled
never
it.
spin.
I know.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Fritz and the Cat.
Yeah!
Fritz and the Cat.
Oh,
Give us
I'm
a
not
trailer.
Sure I'm happy about
It
that.
was this
I'm
close
very
to Devil all the time.
Yeah.
I'm actually very happy with Fritz and the Cat. I was very interested.
It's just Fritz the.
Yeah.
Oh, Fritz.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
Fritz
it's
is the cat. He's
Fritz
not-
and the Cat is my head.
So, for those while we're waiting on the Fritz the Cat trailer, this is the one of 3 last films coming up so far.
What the hell is Fritz the Cat?
Oh my
It
God.
says something about noir. Is that right?
Have
Rosetta
you all
Lenoir.
seen? Have you all seen where people are dressing up in suits to go see Minions 2?
Yes, I
It's
have.
incredibly popular to do that. Apparently.
Yeah, I've seen where there's like a whole fraternity or something when
Two
people watch
shits
it.
about the Minions.
I don't care about it.
Here we go.
Okay.
It looks like Hey Arnold.
Now it doesn't. Now this kind of looks like Charlie Brown.
Jeez.
Is this a furry movie?
Tail.
I want the head start for free last summer. Black kids are so much groovier.
Why does
Oh.
it look like Arthur?
I know.
After School Special.
This looks like Arthur's adult world. Like,
Jesus.
I guess that's Fritz, the cat.
And the cat.
Oh, that seems like sexual assault.
What's it doing?
Oh, there's actual titties in here. You know what? I respect it.
Dylan's gonna give this movie a 10.
Here come the truth.
Nathan!
This is.
I saw a YouTube video of somebody like just discussing this person as a director,
Or
and that was like the only reason I really wanted to see like a movie that he made because it sounded just insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
And,
like it.
This is an
Yep.
acid trip.
Well, you see like reaction videos. This is what I imagine.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that up until this point, I would have said that Price has come the closest to making us watch like hentai, but
Here we are.
yeah, but here we are, right with Nathan, the surprise cartoon
It's a 2.5 minute. I don't know what kind of fest.
trailer, and we've seen more boobs than.
Oh, yeah, there. Okay.
All right, this movie ain't getting less than a 7 on principle.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
What was that?
What?
and then everything just gets nuked.
Why did Fritz sound like somebody from like the 1920s?
Right.
with a-
Oh my
a
god!
pen?
I am so excited for this.
Me too.
Oh
one.
my
You gonna get
God.
going to watch it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah!
We can watch it, dude. Just we gotta get as many.
Did
people
you all hear
involved.
one of the first things it said? Those like black
Yeah.
kids are so much groovier.
And it's just the crow. He's like, yeah, these jive motherfuckers.
Wait, this
Good
is actually
grief.
from 1972.
Yeah.
This is a real. That's the thing that's so weird about this is it's actually a really old film too.
Well, that explains
It's
some
and
of
it
the
was
Yeah.
really
humor.
like
I know,
it was
right?
Yeah.
pushing the edge in the day apparently.
Where does this release? Like,
The
You
theaters.
said something about being in
Yeah,
theaters
it
at
said
the end
it.
of this.
This is the 70s, buddy. Cinema was different
Strap
back
in.
then. Yeah.
you watched this after it went dark and you wore a hat and sunglasses.
Listen, it was this and like Breakfast at Tiffany's reruns, you know? Like.
I'd go to this.
So you haven't seen this?
No,
Okay.
I know almost
It's gonna
nothing
be
about it.
the
Like I
most
said, it was.
genuine.
It's just like the first one that was recommended for watching a
Oh, this
film
director.
by this director.
Yeah.
And I had watched a YouTube video just discussing like how insane the works that he had were.
Yeah.
I just never understood like people are like, man, I want to be an animator when I grow up. Like, well, that's what I want to do. I want to go work for this director. Like, okay, like, what do you want me to draw? All right, I want you to draw a pig cop with a dog hanging out
Yeah.
in front. Like, this is what I went to school for.
Yeah. Listen, that's
I
what a lot
can't
of
show
artists.
this to my family.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Like I
artists.
can't be in the credits for
Yeah,
this.
right.
I don't want my name on this. What?
Just give me the
Well,
paycheck and I'll get out of here. So.
We're in for an interesting one.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, we're doing this at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We're climbing a mountain in it.
Yeah,
all
we
the
put
good
we put
ways.
gas in this car and we're going uphill, buddy.
And gas is so expensive.
Yeah,
it is.
So it's got to
It
be
is.
worth it.
So make sure to tune in next week for Fritz the Cat. Probably the most energetic we've ever been during a trailer before.
I am ecstatic.
If you like the content we keep doing, make sure to hit the bell to let us know whenever, or we will let you know whenever we put our videos out. Usually it's every week. Sometimes it's not. That's why you need to
Sometimes we
hit
take
the
a
bell.
month and a half break.
And then they
Sometimes.
sneakily just get sprinkled into our notifications.
Listen, we've got some sweet ideas for next season, so you guys just need to hang tight. We're coming up on our 3-year anniversary, as Nathan
Yeah.
points out so eloquently.
Yeah.
So we've got some sweet ideas coming in for next season. So that's why you want to stick around and make sure you hit the bell, as I said, and make sure to hit the subscribe button
You only
because
get one.
you gotta show that love, guys. We're watching all sorts of things for
Watching
you.
Fritz the Cat for you.
Yeah, we're watching Fritz
Not
the
for
Cat.
us.
I would watch this anyway. That
I
sounds
do.
very
Yeah, you know
interesting.
what? Go watch the trailer and then time it
Yeah.
side by side with us, and you'll get why we're.
Oh,
Excited.
Man, this is
That's
gonna
on
be something
YouTube.
else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe this was even
Yeah,
on
I know.
YouTube. Yeah, this
Well,
is
like,
very
sorry, that's the
racy.
trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's our show. Make sure to tune in next week for Fritz the Cat. Bye, guys.
Bye. Man,
I'm really looking forward to that.
I honestly don't know of another trailer that we've
No.
Been that exciting.